Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of RoutX Lab Attack. In this episode we're going to be running the Mazda Demio Laughing Face. Now why did I call it the Laughing Face, you ask? Well, some people might still do this to this day instead of using emojis, but 10 or 13 years ago, before they were invented, me and many other people would send an XD as a laughing face. Now like I said, some people might still do this to this day, but this was a really popular thing to do back when texting was more or less a new thing. I know, I still like doing it too sometimes. This was actually my very first car I got in Gran Turismo 7, and it was a very easy decision. The other two choices were either, I think, a Volkswagen. I know the, oh wait, yeah, I remember now. The two other options were the Honda Fit and the Toyota Aqua, also known as the Prius. It was pretty easy to choose this over the Honda and the Toyota, but I ended up getting both of those cars anyway. I sold it later once selling cars became an option at the used car dealership. And I was running this car earlier to make sure that the transmission wasn't too high, and I think we should be fine. If I put it any lower, we would still be running at this speed, but at a higher RPM in 6th gear. I'm actually surprised this car has 6 gears. I thought it would be 5, but here we are. I'm actually glad I did decide to decrease the transmission, because I had it set to 310 instead of 270, which I have now, and 310 was actually too high. Had we left it at 310, then we would be at the top speed we are now if we weren't going up hills. And much lower RPM as well. I don't know if we need to shift. If that red line goes away, then maybe, but we're going to be going downhill soon, so let's not risk it. 112, not bad for a low car. Now, I've always been a big fan of Mazdas, but hatchbacks, tiny like this, I usually don't care for. On the other hand, there's just something about this car I really like. I also had it in Gran Turismo Sport, and I wouldn't be surprised if this made a return in Gran Turismo 8. Probably as a newer version. I mean, I did drive this as well in Gran Turismo 4. You might have seen me trying to do a start and stop test. But of course, the Demio in there was a 99. And it also didn't have the XD package like this one does. Funny, you honk the horn, you can see your driver's hands usually shifting gears or whatever, but you don't see him honking the horn. Let's get ready to make our right turn here. We're doing good. I didn't mean to go into the middle like that, but going back into the right lane without any problems. We hit 160. We'll probably get to like 162 once we get off the curve. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. I realized I bought the high RPM turbocharger for this thing. I probably should have bought the anti-lag system, but we seem to be doing okay so far. And I don't even know if I had enough to afford it. Other than that, all the upgrades I typically buy for all the cars when doing these tests have been acquired. So there is no foul play. This car is getting a fair chance just like everyone else. Something else I realized. Maybe I mentioned this already in one of my custom races, but I also realized Subaru was created 70 years ago in 1953. Now, I don't intend to test every single Subaru in the game. However, what I do have will be run as a way to celebrate the company's 70th anniversary. According to this game, Subaru was formed on July 15, 1953. And it seems to be doing pretty good, too. Although I can't think of any cars that Subaru created, with the exception of the 180, but that oldest one I can think of is a 58. I got to do more research and see what other cars they created once they were first formed in 1953. Naturally, I'm sure a lot of people prefer the newer cars, like literally anything from the 80s or after. The 90s and 2000s were definitely good for Subaru as well. They made a lot of great rally cars. One driver from Scotland, I think his name was Colin McRae. I know it was Colin. I'm not sure about the last name, so do correct me in the comments section if I got that wrong. But Colin McRae in the 90s definitely did a lot of good things for Subaru. I was watching him a month ago in a Top Gear episode. Now, of course, this was with the newer hosts after Jeremy Clarkson and his crew got the can and decided to move on to the Grand Tour, but there's still a few new episodes here and there that are worth watching. There's even one where they try to do the Baja Rally in Mexico with Robbie Gordon. Unfortunately, that didn't end very well for them. They didn't even go very far, but, you know, there is a saying, better luck next time. Not sure if they intend to do it again or if they already tried again, but I wouldn't mind seeing a second attempt from those guys. Now, we're probably going to end up with the slowest lap time out of all the cars, but there will be a few other cars we'll be running that will probably end up slower than this. I intend to do both Miatas, but of course we will also be running Subarus after this to celebrate the company's 70th anniversary. And also the Volkswagen bus, maybe the Willis Jeep, the racing cart as well once I get that. But for now, we have our slowest car at 7 minutes and 9 seconds. Would have been 7:10 if you rounded that up. You see 709.971. But like I said, for a little car, that's really impressive. We only had like 272 horsepower, and the fact that I got this thing to weigh less than 2,000 pounds, I'm actually very, very impressed. I don't even know why I'm looking at this, but yeah, our 15th car of the series. We got less than a Firebird, less than a Mach 1, less than a Corvette, Pontiac, literally everything else. I mean, I already said that it was the slowest car, but we'll probably have a few other cars that end up slower than this. Time will tell. But until then, thank you for joining me, and hopefully you'll stick with me in the next episode, and other episodes to come.